Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Journalism and New Media Studies, Surgeons, Master of Arts, Journalism and Electronic Media, MAJEM. Second year. MJM 028 Digital Media. Block 1 New Media and Society. Unit 3 Issues of Access and Participation. 3.0 Introduction. The digital media system has been in existence for the past 25 years in India. We have experienced these digital media as luxury gadgets and services in the initial phases, but later they became a part of life for many, if not for all. While there were more concerns about the physical access to information and communication technology, ICT, in the initial stage, later the divide between haves and have-nots has significantly changed into digital inequality as the access and usage are increasing, which is becoming a significant issue of concern. The developed countries have reached a saturation point in terms of the penetration of ICT. However, the developing countries are witnessing vast inequalities within the nation. Most urban centers are highly saturated compared to semi-urban and rural areas. Interestingly, higher growth rates of penetration, access, and usage are being observed in semi-urban and rural areas. There is a need to pay close attention and scrutiny to the access and participation of users of digital media in the Indian context. Digital inequalities are major concerns beyond physical access. There is a need for quality internet connection, availability of regional language content and its relevance, opportunities to utilize the ICT tools for routine work, and more importantly, the skills and competencies of users to interact with the various ICT tools in order to maximize the benefits of digital media. After reading this unit, you will be able to learn about the growth and diffusion of information and communication technology, ICT, in India. This unit seeks to develop an understanding of the concepts, definitions, nature, roles, functions, diffusion, and access to ICT. The term ICT is used here in a broader sense and emphasizes how ICT tools, fixed line phone, mobile cellular phone, and the internet have diffused and is being accessed across the country. The unit also discusses how the digital divide still exists between rural and urban areas and across the states. The key initiatives taken by both governments and private organizations to bridge the digital divide in the country has also been touched upon. 3.1 Learning Outcomes. After reading this unit, you will be able to understand the conceptual frameworks of digital inequalities. Describe the evolution, nature, and the developmental role of ICT. Trace the growth and diffusion of ICT in the global context. Discuss the determinants of digital divide and describe the impact of the digital divide and initiatives to bridge it in the Indian context. 3.2 Digital inequality conceptual frameworks. Digital inequality is the latest connotative term associated with an earlier concept called the digital divide, which explains that there is uneven distribution, access, and participation of digital infrastructure in the society. There are two concepts linked together in digital inequality. Digital refers to the technological resources pertinent to information and communication technology, ICT, and inequality denotes the unevenness in accessing and participating with the ICT resources. In a related context, we can refer to one of the frequently quoted definitions of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, on the digital divide in order to understand its relevance in today's context. OECD 2003 defines the digital divide as the gap between individuals, households, businesses, and geographic areas at different socioeconomic levels with regard to both their opportunities to access information and communication technologies and their use of the Internet for a wide variety of activities. According to Van Dijk, 2017, the digital divide needs to have much more clarity. Dijk says, In fact, it is a metaphor that has inspired at least four misunderstandings. First, the metaphor suggests a simple distinction between two divided groups with a yawning gap between them. Second, it suggests that this gap is difficult to bridge. Third, it can imply absolute inequalities between those who are included and those who are excluded, whereas inequalities are of a more relative kind. Finally, the digital divide is not a static and permanent condition. As we discussed in the previous unit on the status of digital media penetration in India, according to TRAI 2020 data, we have nearly 51% of the internet and 87% of mobile penetration. Nevertheless, if you dissect these percentages further, you will find significant disparities between locations of residence like urban or rural, or on a gender basis, at the level of internet connections, on the types of computing mobile devices used and its quality, on the availability of regional language content, and more importantly, users' skills and competencies in using digital devices and particularly the relevance of these devices for personal usages. However, three essential dimensions need to be considered while assessing digital inequality: access to networks, competencies to use devices, and relevance as well as usage of digital platforms. Digital inequality is not about the physical presence or absence of network platforms. However, beyond that, several factors are determining the quality of access, competencies, and relevance, like economic conditions, geographical locations, educational background, age, family background, availability of regional content, occupation, literacy, and technical skill sets, etc. Hence, digital inequality is a socio-economic issue, as those who have better access to ICT tend to get more benefits. On the other hand, groups that lack better access and necessary digital competencies and skills tend to spend more time with entertainment content, as they lack the skills to use ICT tools for their professional or political usage. In the global context, the developed countries are in a better position to implement newer ICT tools quickly due to their political structure, economic conditions, market structure, and better investment in research and development (R&D) sectors. Many developing countries fail to meet, if not all, many of these factors, and hence it affects them to roll out the latest technology to boost communication infrastructure. Huang and Chen, 2010, observed that there is no universal trend. The severity of the divide decreases in some cases, but it increases in others. Mossberger, Tolbert, and Stansbury, 2003, have reformulated the digital divide further into four forms of divides: the access divide, skills divide, economic opportunity divide, and democratic divide. According to them, the access divide includes the location of computer and internet use and the frequency of internet users in each location. The skill divide is measured in terms of technical competencies and digital literacy. The economic opportunity divides are conceptualized as experiences, beliefs, and attitudes regarding computers and economic advancement. Finally, the democratic divide is defined as attitudes and experiences regarding internet use for political activities. Schweitzer, 2015, further categorized the digital divide into many levels. The digital divide encompasses differences in both access, first-level digital divide, and usage, second-level digital divide, of computers and the internet between 1. Industrialized and developing countries, global divide; 2. Various socio-economic groups within single nation-states, social divide; and 3. Different kinds of users with regard to their political engagement on the internet, democratic divide. If you keenly observe the historical developments of the emergence of digital inequalities since the 1990s, you will notice that in the earlier period, 1995 to 2000, the majority of the discussion happened around physical access to ICT infrastructure. Between 2000 to 2005, the competencies and skills dominated the discussion, and in last one decade, The focus area is being shifted to relevance and usage of ICT for the public as well as private purposes. Yet another set of divisions happen in the discourse of digital inequality over the period, horizontal versus vertical perspectives of digital inequalities. The horizontal perspective delves into the quantitative dimension of digital inequalities, such as the quantum of ICT infrastructure and its affordability and accessibility at the individual, national, and international levels. Whereas in a vertical perspective, the qualitative dimension of digital inequalities is interpreted in terms of competencies, skills, usages, and outcome of its usage. Digital inequality or digital divide is being extensively scrutinized from diverse basic as well as applied research perspectives over the past 2 decades. Access to communication technology and usage of ICT tools are mostly studied from the media studies discipline, and perception and motivations are focal points from psychology perspectives, inequality, and its related issues from the sociological point of view, and media information literacy from pedagogical perspectives. Van Dijk quotes the theoretical evolution of academic works related to digital inequalities that give a broader framework for understanding this crucial area from the research point of view. He says, in social and communication science, these stages of access are dealt with by technology acceptance theories. Most psychological theories, such as the technology acceptance model and the theory of planned behavior, deal with access focusing on motivation and attitudes. Examples are perceived usefulness, ease of use, and subjective norms that affect behavioral intention to gain access to digital media. As soon as acceptance reaches the stage of decision making, adoption theories such as diffusion of innovation are used. These are theories more rooted in sociology and communication and focus on social and contextual factors. In the post-adoption stages, initial and continuous use, social, cultural, and communication theories figure. Examples include domestication theory, uses and gratification theory, and social cognitive theory, leading to the model of media attendance. Van Dijk, 2017, has proposed a model of the resources and appropriation theory. The main aspects of this theory are: 1. Categorical inequalities in society produce an unequal distribution of resources. 2. An unequal distribution of resources causes unequal access to digital technologies. 3. Unequal access to digital technologies also depends on the characteristics of these technologies. 4. Unequal access to digital technologies brings about unequal participation in society. 5. Unequal participation in society reinforces categorical inequalities and unequal distributions of resources. With the above theoretical understanding of digital inequalities, let us examine the ICT access and participation from the Indian perspective. 3.3 Evolution and Development of ICT. All of us would agree that we cannot imagine living in a modern society without using information and communication technology, ICT. Most of us use the internet, mobile phones, computers, and smartphones, and these ICT tools have become an integral part of our daily lives. They have also integrated into every aspect of our business economic activities. 3.3.1 Evolution of ICT. The information age began in the mid-19th century after the industrial age, when the work process starts involving the creation, distribution, and application of information. It has evolved in phases from a society having radio as the primary source of information to television as a popular source of information and entertainment. Later, we moved to the wireless age or digital age of mobile phones, personal computers, and the internet. Over the years, these changes in technologies have dramatically transformed the sources and flow of information. The sizes of technological tools have reduced drastically, and the speed to operate and process data and communication of information has also increased manifolds. we can identify the following 5 phases of ICT evolution. The first phase of ICT evolution started with the creation of electromagnetic calculators during the Second World War, 1939 to 45, followed by the invention of transistors in 1947, which led to the development of smaller but handy computers. With the changing technologies of input and output devices from punch cards to magnetic tapes, computer gained popularity. The second phase of ICT evolution is associated with the development of personal computers during the 1970s. The development of chip technology and manufacturing magnetic disks transformed huge computers into desktops, which are called personal computers. Word processing, accounting, and graphics became accessible. The third phase of ICT evolution is related to the development of microprocessors. A microprocessor, a multipurpose, programmable device that accepts digital data as input, processes it according to instructions stored in its memory and provides results as output. Microprocessors reduce the cost of processing power. The fourth phase of ICT evolution is around networking. Starting from connecting computers within a small geographic area for use in the field of defense and education to connecting the computers worldwide, resulting on the Internet is the landmark development in the field of ICT. This resulted in breaking the distance barrier across the geographies, and the world is called a global village. Social networking is a byproduct of this worldwide connection. The introduction of broadband has accelerated this evolution. The fifth phase of ICT evolution is related to the development of wireless, which refers to the present phase. This phase began with the invention of the mobile phone. The initial mobile phones were large and bulky. A greatly expanded range of functions has accompanied a reduction in size with the advent of smartphones. Now mobile phones, particularly smartphones, are used for talking, transmitting messages, pictures, and music, browsing, navigating, etc. 3.3.2 ICT technologies. There is a range of technologies that fall under the category of ICT from traditional to modern communication systems. Some of the standard information and communication technologies are given in Table 1, which presents ICT technologies and their roles or functions. Table 1. Technologies and functions of information and communication technologies. Look at the screens. 3.3.3 Developmental role of ICT. Information and communications technologies, ICT, play an important role in the development process as it contributes towards national income or GDP and improves people's living standards by facilitating access to more livelihood opportunities and global information. It promises a fundamental change in all aspects of our lives, including knowledge dissemination, social interaction, economic and business practices, political engagement, media, education, health, leisure, and entertainment. Some of the vital developmental roles of ICT are summarized in Table 2. Table 2. Developmental role with ICT tools. Look at the screen. 3.4 Growth and diffusion of ICT. The impact of ICT can be seen within the perspectives of two interrelated aspects, diffusion and growth. While growth refers to the expansion of ICT such as the number of mobile phones and internet subscribers, diffusion refers to the distribution of ICT's use across people from different places like rural-urban, developed and underdeveloped regions, rich-poor people, and other disadvantaged people, women, handicapped, socially included SC and STs, etc. The diffusion part affects human welfare such as education, health, socio-economic development of people, economic growth, increased productivity, and competitiveness in different sectors of the economy. In this section, we are focusing on the growth and diffusion of ICT's technologies, particularly landline phones, mobile phones, and the Internet. 3.4.1 Growth of ICTs. Fixed phone and mobile cellular phone. We can see from Table 3 that the fixed-line phone subscribers were at a peak in the early 2000s and started declining after it, while mobile phone penetration gained movement during the same period. The fixed-line phone subscribers globally declined 1243 million in 2005 to 1004 million in 2016. On the other hand, the cellular phone subscribers increased more than 3 times during the same period, 2,205 million in 2005 to 7511 million in 2016. The growth of cellular phone subscribers is significantly higher in developing countries, 1213 million in 2005 to 5909 million in 2016, compared to the developed world, 992 million in 2005 to 1603 in 2016. This is because building telephone infrastructure was difficult in remote and rural areas in most of the developing countries like India, which has adopted cellular phones in more significant numbers. The majority of the fixed phone, 41%, and mobile cellular phone, 54%, subscribers reside in Asia and the Pacific, but the penetration rates are low compared to other parts of the world. Table 3. Growth of fixed-line phone and mobile phone subscribers, teledensity. Look at the screen. We can further see from Table 3 the penetration rate of the fixed-line phone and mobile cellular phone as is measured by teledensity, phone per 100 people. Similar to the subscribers, the teledensity of fixed-line phones declined from 19.1% in 2005 to 13.6% in 2016. Similar trends were also observed both in developed, developing countries and Asia and Pacific. On the other hand, the teledensity of mobile phones increased almost 3 times, from 33.9% to 101.5% during the same period. In particular, the developing countries, 22.9% in 2005 to 96.3% in 2016, have benefited most by mobile phone, 82.1% in 2005 to 127.2% in 2016, with a higher rise of its subscribers compared to developed countries, which had already reached 82% teledensity in 2005. India's telecom, mobile phone and fixed services subscribers increased from 0.1 million in 1947 to 5 million in 1991 and 29 million in 2000 to 1,183.5 million by 2019, Table 4. It is the second biggest mobile market in the world in terms of subscribers, second only to China. Indian telecom subscribers account for 28% of Asia-Pacific's total telecom subscribers and 15% of the global subscriber base, ITU, 2018. Mobile phones have mainly contributed to the phenomenal growth of phone services during the last decade, which crossed the fixed-line phone subscribers in 2004. Presently, the mobile phone segment, 1,161.8 million, dwarfs the fixed segment, 21.7 million, by a ratio of 53:1. The mobile phone subscribers constitute 98% and have increased by almost 16 times between 2005 and 2019. Today, India is ranked second in the world in terms of mobile phone subscribers. India is ranked second after China, TRAI, 2018, which is attributed to various factors such as low prices of services, rise in people's income, competition, and the introduction of micro-prepaid connection and low handset prices, Guha and Kaushal, 2010. Mobile phone subscriber annual growth rate has fluctuated from high at 13% in 2010 to 11 to negative, -7% in 2012 to 13 and only 1% in 2017 to 18 and witnessed negative growth during 2018 to 19 period. Table 4. Telecom subscribers, in millions, in India, 2019. Look at the screen. However, This fluctuation in growth was mainly due to the removal of inactive subscribers by the operators to improve their operational performance and compliance with subscriber verification norms. TRAI introduced registration of active users via Visitor Location Register (VLR), and the estimated number was around 50% of the total subscribers in 2011. The regulator measures the number of active subscribers via its Visitor Location Register (VLR), a temporary database of subscribers who have roamed in a particular area. Exactly one VLR serves each base station in the network, hence a subscriber cannot be present at more than one VLR at a time. VLR data is calculated based on the date of peak VLR of the particular month and gauged from the switches having a purge time of not more than 72 hours, TRAI, 2018. This is due to the overestimation of subscribers, inactive connections, and usage of multiple subscriber identity module (SIM) cards. About 35% of mobile connections were inactive, and 15% had multiple SIMs either on the same phone or in different phones. Applying filters of inactive users and multiple SIM holders, it translates that about only half of the total subscribers were active in 2011. Over the years, after shading off inactive subscribers by the operators, still 16% of the total subscribers were inactive in March 2018. The decline in mobile phone subscribers in the recent period was the consolidation of the market after the entry of Reliance Jio. Several small operators have either merged or exited from the market. Internet broadband. Internet penetration has picked in recent years mainly after the entry of wireless internet. Wireline internet subscribers increased more than 4 times, from 220 million in 2005 to 917 million in 2016 globally, Table 5. The rate of growth is significantly higher in developing countries, 71 million to 535 million, than in the developed countries, 148 million to 382 million, during the same period. The active wireless internet subscribers increased rapidly in recent years, from 807 million in 2010 to 3864 million in 2016 in the world. The pace of active wireless internet subscribers' growth is also higher in developing countries compared to that of the developed world. However, the overall penetration rate of wireline internet, 12.4%, and wireless internet, 52.2%, was far less in developing countries, 8.7% and 43.6%, compared to developed ones, 30.3% and 94.4%, in 2016. The Asia and Pacific region also shows a low penetration rate of both wireless internet, 47.4%, and wireline internet, 11.3%. Table 5. Internet broadband subscribers. Look at the screen. In India, the internet was started first by Videsh Sanchar Nigam Limited, VSNL, in 1995 via dial-up services in 6 cities. Moreover, the pace of internet penetration was very slow at only 0.1% in 1999 due to the high price of the services and low penetration of landline phones. The internet penetration rate picked up only after an increase in the number of internet service providers in 2006 and the availability of wireless internet networks and smartphones in recent years. Currently, India has over 493 million internet subscribers, making it the second largest internet user in the world, ranked only behind China. Over the last few years, an increase in internet penetration has been driven mainly by wireless internet with the availability of cheaper smartphones. The number of internet subscribers in the country increased at an annual growth rate of 43%, with the number reach 604 million in 2019 from 5.6 million in 2092.5 million in 2010, Table 6. This growth is attributed to wireless internet with cheaper smartphones, faster connectivity, and affordable services. wireless internet subscribers in the country witnessed rapid growth and reached at 604 million compared to 21 million wired internet subscribers. This indicates that the wireless internet is mainly responsible for rapid internet penetration growth in recent years. Table 6. Internet subscribers in a million and penetration in percentage. Look at the screen. 3.5 Digital divide. Diffusion of ICT, digital divide. The debates on the information gap started with the rising penetration of ICTs across the world. The information gap between the developed and developing countries was initially observed in the early 1990s, which gave birth to the term digital divide. Similarly, Singh, 2010, described digital divide, stating that it is a situation in which there is a substantial gap in access to the use of ICTs devices measured, for example, by the number of fixed-line phones per 100 inhabitants or number of mobile phone users or the internet users in the population. Honeyman and Rudin explain the digital divide in terms of geographical digital divide between regions, countries, and within countries. In the context of India, the digital divide across rural-urban and interstate is crucial. It plays a crucial role in the socio-economic development process and in changing the pattern of people's lives. Also, in the case of India, the urban-rural and intrastate digital divide has been discussed in the subsequent sections indicated by mobile phone and internet subscribers. Rural-urban digital divide. It is clear from Table 7 that the rural and urban digital divide, indicated by teledensity, mobile phone and fixed phone, is widening over time. Although there has been an increase in rural teledensity since 2000, that increase is much less when compared to the urban teledensity. Thus, rural-urban teledensity gap has increased from 7 points in 2000 to 131 in 2012 and reduced at 106 in 2018, thereby indicating that the information revolution in the case of India is more of an urban phenomenon. This demonstrates that the success story of the Indian telecom sector is partial, and the diffusion of services is uneven in rural and urban India. The rural, 59%, tele-density is around one-third to that of urban, 165%, albeit the former is home to nearly 70% of India's total population, census 2011. In other words, one can say that about 70% of the people are covered by only 59% of phone connections. Table 7. Digital divide, teledensity by rural-urban. Look at the screen. Internet subscribers in India have been increasing rapidly, with more people from rural areas getting hooked to the wireless or mobile internet. However, despite the recent growth of internet connections in rural areas, there is still a difference between urban and rural areas. Only 16% of internet users are in rural areas as compared to 85% in urban areas, Table 8. This rural-urban internet divide is widening from 36 points in 2015 to 69 points in 2018. Table 8. Digital divide. Internet penetration, percent, by rural-urban. Look at the screen. Regional, states, digital divide. Table 9 shows that the teledensity of less developed states such as Assam, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, and Uttar Pradesh is lower than the more developed or industrialized states like Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka, Kerala, Punjab, and Delhi. Further, the rural-urban divide is also more pronounced in less developed states, which is reflecting the widening gaps across states in the country as far as income and wealth are considered. Money, 2012. Table 9. Major state UT-wise teledensity, as on September 2019. Look at the screen. Similar to the high penetration rate of telecom services, internet subscribers rate is more in urbanized or industrialized states like Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka compared to less developed states such as Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, Rajasthan, West Bengal, Madhya Pradesh and Assam. Table 10. The growth rate of urban internet users is higher as compared to that of rural internet users. Table 10. Major state utilize internet subscribers in a million, urban and rural division, percent, 2020. Table 10. Major state utilize internet subscribers in a million, urban and rural division, percent, 2020. Look at the screen. 3.5.1 Determinants of digital divide in India. The above analysis made it clear that there is a huge digital divide in rural, urban, and interstate in India. Rural India is significantly lagging behind urban India in the use of ICTs. Similarly, many less developed states like northeastern states, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, Orissa, Chhattisgarh, and Assam are lagging behind the more developed states such as Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka in access and diffusion of ICTs technologies. India is a multicultural, multilinguistic, and multireligious country with complex socio-economic conditions. The use of ICT technology correlates with several economic and social aspects. The following are some of the critical determinants of the digital divide in India. Availability of reliable ICT infrastructure. Many villages in rural and remote India are still without electricity and other ICT infrastructure facilities. Accessibility of digital information. Poor mobile phone connectivity and low internet access is a barrier for information access. Education digital capacity skills. Level of education, mainly digital literacy or skill among a large number of people, is still low. Poverty. Income disparity is very high in India, resulting in low purchasing power and denied access to smartphones, internet connection, and other ICTs technologies. Local content and languages. Lack of relevant information and contents in the local language is a significant issue for Indian masses. Most of the information is available in the English language, and hence, people who do not know English are likely to be deprived of information usage. 3.5.2 Implications of digital divide. The above discussed issues of the digital divide are needed to be tackled properly, otherwise, it can pose serious socio-economic implications on those who do not have access to it. The following are some of the implications of the digital divide. Low economic development and social interest. Economic development of the country at various levels would be misbalanced, which will cause social issues. High poverty, inequality of income within the society. Lack of information. Most of the people do not have access to knowledge through the internet as they do not understand the web content, which is not written in regional languages. Low level of education skills. Negative impact on basic literacy rate and advanced or higher education among people is severely affected. Unemployment. Unemployment among people who are not digitally competent is very high. 3.6 Initiatives to bridge digital divide in India. In the above context, there is a need to take several steps to bridge the digital divide in India, such as making ICT accessible to all, universalizing education including digital education skills, government support, and favorable policies, promoting e-governance, e-health, e-education, and others initiatives. The Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, MCIT, has taken many steps to ensure that the benefits of ICT technologies reach the common man residing in rural and remote areas of the country. The MCIT ensured a proper regulatory framework to rein on the digital divide with the passage of the Information Technology Act in the year 2000, Open Data Initiatives, and Data Sharing Policy 2012, which gave a fillip to information technology and e-governance activities and projects countrywide. Further enactment of the Right of Information Bill in 2002 and Right to Information Act 2004 by the Parliament in 2005 sets out the practical regime for people to secure access to information under the control of public authorities in order to promote openness, transparency, and accountability. In the last couple of decades, there have been several initiatives taken by the public as well as private bodies to bridge the digital divide in India. Broadly, we may categorize these activities under state promoted and private promoted initiatives. It is difficult to put forward all such initiatives in this unit, however, some important initiatives are listed below. Table 11. Select public and private initiatives to bridge the digital divide. Initiatives and services. eChaupal. This was one of the largest initiatives by Indian Tobacco Company, ITC, Limited in 2000 to provide information to farmers on market prices of crops, new farm practices in the local language, etc. It was initiated in 40,000 villages through 6,500 kiosks in 10 states of India. The information provided to farmers regarding inputs, technology, purchase, and sale of their produce at their doorsteps and purchase of farm produce from the farmers' doorsteps helped an estimated 4 million people. Drishti. It was initiated as a service provided to connect rural people with the rest of India by providing a mobile kiosk-based telephone and initiated in 2000 in villages of Haryana, Punjab, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, and Orissa. The telephone services offered through kiosks in the project had helped the digital inclusion of rural people residing in around 2,000 villages. Kisan Call Center, KCC vertical bar to answer farmers' queries, facilitate them to Ministry of Agriculture, manage their crops better, and also make them Government of India initiated aware of the availability of new agriculture KCC in 2004 in 14 different technology. It has helped millions of farmers locations covering all the states across the country. And UTs to answer the farmers' queries in 22 languages through a toll-free telephone number accessible through mobile phone and landlines telephone. Lifeline India, LLI 1 vertical bar. This service provided under the LLI was not World initiated it, a charitable only vital for delivering prompt services to organization with Cisco farmers but also resulted in the improvement November 2006 to provide of their crop quality and efficiency. This phone-based information resulted in an increase in their profits by up to services to farmers and provide 150%. The services proved the value of expert advice on agriculture digital inclusion by educating rural farmers and animal husbandry related queries in 700 villages. All that the farmers needed to do was to dial the Lifelines India number from a community telephone. National E-Governance Plan vertical bar. The services provided under the initiative, NEGP, was initiated by the Government of India in May 2006 to make all government services available to the citizens of the country via electronic media. Digital India. This is a flagship program of the Indian government initiated in the year 2015. Under Digital India, the government has emphasized the creation of digital infrastructure, digital literacy, and delivery of services through digital or electronic mode. 3.7 Let us sum up. In this unit, we discuss the emergence of ICT, its definition, nature, and role. We traced the axis and growth of ICT globally and with particular reference to India. We discussed the major ICT technologies from fixed phones, mobile phones, and computers to the internet and how these technologies have increased over the years. We also looked at digital divides in detail across countries' developed and developing worlds, rural and urban areas, and regional level or state level. We have seen how the rural, underdeveloped regions are still lagging in access to ICT technologies. Finally, we have discussed the factors leading to the digital divide and initiatives taken by the government to bridge the digital divide. Overall, one can say that ICT has become the lifeline at present, and India has also benefited a lot from its diffusion. However, still, a lot needs to be done to fully exploit the benefits of ICT, where the role of government, civil society, and people is equally important. Thank you for watching.